Hi there, I'm Alex from the Southern Ukulele Store, and I had to take a bit of a run up at today's video because I've never featured this Luthiery before, this brand before, but it's a brand that many of us that seek out high-end ukuleles, seek out the very top, the creme de la creme of instruments, look for and look at. And getting it earlier on in the week, I made a very short sound sample, but I mean, it's just a breathtaking instrument. We're going to take a look today at a Cornerstone ukulele. Now, let's take a look at the shape first of all. This ukulele here with this very unique sound hole. Made a high grade curly koa. We'll just take a little walk around it before we talk about it. Really special grade of instrument here. Even the headstock here. Subtle in this light, but absolutely stunning. Now, Cornerstone is the product of Pete Marreiros, which is a builder from, I think originally from California, but currently building in North Carolina, Bakersville, North Carolina. You would have seen these instruments featured before on Ukulele Site if you're somebody that kind of seeks out product knowledge on ukuleles. And the chap himself is a fascinating, really kind of battle-hardened luthier with, I would say, about 2 decades of experience. Moved over from building mainly guitars around 6-7 years ago and began focusing really on ukuleles. And each one is very, very specifically tuned and different to the last one. Looking at some of the interviews that Peter has done in the past, he was talking about how he moves the bracing and tunes the bracing, thinning, adjusting, building new bracing for each individual instrument. And the inside of this ukulele is the thing that gets us really, really excited here. We see instruments all the time that have weight relief bracing now. Kanile'a pioneered it in many ways on the ukulele, but just 2 or 3 weeks ago we were looking at those Ohana custom shops with those very thin, delicate bracing. But there's something almost arrogant about the bracing in this. The bracing on this looks like it belongs in some kind of futuristic version of Noah's Ark. It's absolutely stunning to look at, and I'm going to really struggle to get it on camera, but I'm going to try for you because I want you to be able to enjoy this like me. And if we are looking inside, make note of these etched tribal inlays completing the look that matches up with the headstock here. And this headstock has a koa half sail faceplate over ebony, so you've got a mixture of koa and ebony there on the faceplate with the tribal etchings, but also just a flower, looks like a hibiscus flower with abalone binding and the Cornerstone abalone logo. The finish on this instrument is a glass-like UV polyester finish, similar to what kanile'a use. It cures very, very fast, but it takes an incredible amount of skill and patience to get right. The finish on this over this really high grade koa body, so about as good as curly koa gets on the front, back and sides. And I can't help but wonder if the wide sound hole is there to help Peter tune the bracing in real time. So he takes the bracing out, puts it in, puts it out. And I was seeing him talk to the guys at Ukulele Site about a year ago, where he was talking about feeding bracing in and out with pieces of string. And I have to say, when you see master grade curly koa and you see a UV gloss finish, you instantly think of kanile'a. But actually, the lightness in the hand, the way this instrument feels when you hold it, reminds me more of the Koaloa Red Label custom ukuleles. It feels very, very Hawaiian, but it has a completely different sound to anything else that I feel like we've had here in the shop before. It kind of, if a baritone ukulele can sound a bit like a guitar, this has the warmth and the qualities of a baritone ukulele, but wrapped up in a tenor package. So when you see a super tenor, that's kind of what they're trying to do. But I don't know if it's the tuned bracing or it's just a little bit of the magic that Peter uses when he builds these instruments. But this instrument, to me, sounds so much bigger than a ukulele. It sounds like it's got some kind of reverb and EQ. When you play it naturally, it's like somebody's following you around for the rest of your life with a mixing desk, making you sound the best that you can sound. You have the ebony fingerboard and bridge. The bridge itself, I really love this bridge, with a granitized bone nut and saddle. So it kind of has almost like a spearmint look to it. Never seen this material before. It's really interesting after all these years when you see something you've not seen on a ukulele before. You start doing a bit of research. And there's abalone trim for days on this instrument. As you look around it, there's abalone on the sound hole, there's abalone around the front. You have the ebony binding and the ebony armrest here with the side port. And one of my favourite features, not something you'd probably get a lot of people talk about, is the squared off heel joint. I don't think I've ever seen a ukulele like this before. It reminds me of an extremely high quality classical guitar that I've seen in the past, which suddenly makes sense when you look at Peter's history building classical guitars, building guitars. I recently saw a kind of wide nut steel string guitar based on a classical guitar sell second hand for upwards of $10,000. So to say that Peter's work is revered going back throughout his time as a luthier is an understatement. You have a mahogany neck here going up to some really good, as you'd expect. You wouldn't put cheap friction tuners on this, but some gorgeous Goto tuners as well. Somebody emailed me yesterday and saw the sound sample I posted on social media earlier in the week and said to me, "Oh, Alex is going to make his video and give this ukulele the hard sell." And it made me think, with this ukulele, when something is like this, you don't really feel any kind of pressure or urge to give it a hard sell, because this instrument is beyond the realms of affordability for 99% of the players out there that are buying ukuleles. But if you're a collector, if you're somebody that appreciates art, you're somebody that appreciates high-end cars or just bespoke things that push the instrument forward, something like a Kanile'a Platinum. This is a similar kind of price to a Kanile'a Platinum, and the only difference is it's made by a single luthier in a different part of the world, different part of the USA, but to the same standard. And actually it does remind me most of one of the Kanile'a Platinums from a couple of years ago, because there's something about the note separation on this instrument. When you play it, when you strum a chord, the lower and the mid frequencies, they linger in a different dimension, a different realm to the higher frequencies. So the melody, it almost sounds like two people playing a duet with each other. That's how good the very, very top end 1% of musical instruments are, and that's what this is. And I could truly never do it justice, but I'm going to try for you now. I'm going to give this a play and see what you think. I like how much you can emote on the C string. Because for men, that's where most of our kind of vocal voicing is. Normally on a ukulele I find the C to be quite dead where it's such a thick string. I honestly, that was probably quite boring at the end there for you guys at home, but I was honestly playing this was giving me some kind of like weird existential crisis. I kind of left my body and just kept playing. Guess that's what music's about, folks.